What is up everybody, it is me DevilNeverCry, and in today's video we're going to be going over the dual-wielded Kalina Anns. As always, subscribe and stay tuned to make sure you don't miss any DMC content. For those of you who don't know, Dante can indeed dual-wield both the original Kalina Ann and the new one that you are gifted in Mission 18, with the former being found in Mission 11. One Kalina Ann is more than enough to take out a whole horde of demons, so it only makes sense that having two allows you access to a massive amount of damage. With that said though, let's dive right into some of the moves you should be using if you have the dual Kalina Anns. Kicking it off with the Cascade move. This is simply performed by pressing and holding the gun button, in which Dante will assume a stance, put together both Kalina Anns, and fire off one mega shot. Now it has to be noted that Dante will only fire in the direction that he's currently facing when he starts the animation. So if you're locking onto an enemy, you get the double Kalina Ann ready, you get the Cascade move all charged up, and the enemy moves. Unfortunately, the move will not hit. However, the move does penetrate, so if you have multiple enemies lined up in your line of sight, you'll absolutely obliterate them. And I do mean obliterate because even on Dante Must Die mode on some of the bosses, this will absolutely shred their health bar. Not only that, but it will stun the majority of enemies that it hits, but do be careful because you are left vulnerable for quite some time after using the move due to an abundance of recovery frames. But one of the good things about this move is that it is not tied to any particular style. So you could still have access to your Trickster or your Royal Guard and still be able to use this move. Let's move on to some of the Gunslinger specific moves, because that's when the weapon seems to truly shine. Headlining the Gunslinger style is the Mega Cascade move. Now we just got done talking about the standard Cascade move, which is powerful in and of itself, but the Mega Cascade takes it to a whole nother level. By pressing the lock on, tilting the left stick forward, and pressing and holding the style button, Dante will again connect both Kalina Anns, and this time instead of firing off one mega shot that seems to penetrate through everything, he lets loose with a massive laser of death that absolutely tears through enemy and boss health. One thing to mention is that you can actually aim the laser, albeit only slightly. However, compared to the standard Cascade, it could be considered more versatile simply because you can move the laser around. At the same time though, because the animation for the attack is a lot longer, it isn't just a one and done, and you are left quite vulnerable throughout the laser's animation, so you can easily be hit from the side or from the back and be knocked out of the animation completely. And of course, because the move is so powerful, it does have a longer recovery animation than the standard Cascade move. You'll see Dante do this slick animation where he seems to disassemble both Kalina Anns from their mega laser formation and stylishly sweep them onto his shoulders, ready to take on more enemies. Another Gunslinger specific move I want to discuss is Hysteric Twins. This move is performed by pressing lock on, tilting the left stick back, and pressing the style button. By doing so, Dante will set both of the Kalina Anns into the ground, where they seem to let loose a barrage of missiles all around Dante in a 360-degree motion. The more you tap the style button, the more missiles seem to come out. This move seems to be great for crowd control, specifically if there are a lot of enemies, because it does a moderate amount of damage, but it seems to stun quite a lot of enemies. The final Gunslinger move I want to talk about is the Multiple Twins move. By pressing and holding the style button, Dante will let loose with a massive barrage of homing missiles from both Kalina Anns. They automatically lock onto multiple foes and do a moderate amount of damage. Of course, it is good for crowd control as it automatically locks on to the nearest foe, but it does do quite a bit of damage if there is only one foe left. And it doesn't need to be said that the move is great for dealing with a lot of flying enemies. They tend to be quite versatile in the air, seemingly able to dodge quite a few things, but they're not able to escape the automatic lock-on that the move provides. And that about wraps it up for all the moves that the dual-wielded Kalina Anns have at their disposal. It has to be said that they do a moderate amount of damage, but the recovery animations mean that you are vulnerable to attacks if you time your attack wrong, or if you use an attack with enemies all around you. It's best to use the weapon when enemies are stunned, or when quite far from enemies, allowing you to get off attacks in relative safety. With all that said and done, it has been me, DevilNeverCry. I would like to thank all of you for watching, and as always, I'll see you next video.